What's up, y'all? Welcome to 77 Flavors of Chicago.
I would say good morning, but you don't know that it's
Yeah,
morning.
y'all
so-
don't know. It's St. Patrick's Day here in Chicago. Y'all don't know that either, but but happy St. Patrick's Day if that's your thing.
But this is not a St. Patrick's
Right.
Day episode.
Nah, we talking about black people hair products, and y'all can see your boys down bad. I'm in between cuts. It's been a little while. I'm coming into the shop with Dr. Snow, but anyway, if y'all could go ahead and please like, subscribe, and do all those things so that we can keep on being cool as fuck. But today we are talking about black wealth. Really, we're talking about black wealth, and coincidentally, how it starts with black hair and hair care. And we're gonna be heading to Bronzeville, but
Right.
it's kind of ironic that
Dario has a haircut today.
yeah, all right, I got a haircut, but also, like that's kind of like a taboo subject. It shouldn't be taboo, you know what I mean? But like people have made it something that it's not, black hair and how it looks in the media, when really that was the start of like Black Metropolis here in Chicago. So that's what we're talking about.
But first,
Let's go ahead and handle
take
this.
care of that.
Take care of this mess. So let's go.
Let's get it. All right, so I just left Dario getting his haircut. I'm gonna go try and find a coffee somewhere, maybe get him some like breakfast, and I'll be right back. But let's walk through Pilsen.
All right, so look at you. First of all,
All right,
go ahead, acknowledge your boy.
Let's all calm down.
But we are here in Bronzeville now, about to start the episode for real. So like I said, today we're talking about black equity, right? Along the line of hair products. And we
Equity.
equity, yeah, black equity, as far as hair is concerned, which is ironic, right? Like we said, let's start at the top here.
Yeah.
And so there was a guy named Anthony Overton. He was from Louisiana. He eventually moved to Kansas, where he became a business person.
Okay.
A very strong business person. He started like a drugstore and a dry goods type of store along the line for black people, right? And they had hair products. One of his was the brown shadow. You know hair.
Oh yeah, the powder.
Yeah, the brown powder. There it is.
Yep.
Yeah, so he started that right in Kansas, and so then he wanted to kind of like expand the business, right? Because that was more along the lines. He didn't have a real building down there, but it was notable. Now he came to Chicago in 1911. Okay, 1911 he came to Chicago, and that's when he started the Overton hygienic company with a building. And guess what? Let's turn around here. We are right here in front of it. That building right there is the Overton Hygienic Building.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy. It is listed on the National Register of Historic Places because of everything we're going to talk to you about as we keep on going here.
Should we cross the street?
Yeah, but let's cross the street. Let's go a little closer. Let's take a look at the building.
See it.
And and we'll continue. All right, now that we got a little closer, you got some B-roll going on. Let's tell you a little bit more about why this is significant. So let's start off with Anthony Overton. So he was a very kind of like prince, so you say, of Chicago, like starting Metropolis here. And some of the stuff that he did, one of the first things he did was 1916. He started the Half Century magazine, which was dedicated to like, telling people, black folks, and given us a platform about what we had going on. Now, the significance of that was a half century since the Emancipation Proclamation. That's why it's called half century. Okay. So pretty dope. It's 50 years after.
Really cool.
Yeah, in 1916. But that's the only tip of the iceberg of when he started. He was kind of like the prince of like the Black Metropolis. This was really before Bronzeville was the Black Metropolis. Keep in mind, this is towards the beginning of the Great Northern Migration. 1923, he actually started the Douglas National Bank. And the significance of that was the Douglas National Bank was only the second black-owned bank
Wow.
nationally in the United States.
Nationally?
Yes, in the United States at that time. The only second largest bank.
That's wild.
Second black-owned bank. Also, he started Victory Life Insurance, and that was also a very significant thing. Here's a fun fact about that. New Yorkers, listen. This was the first, it was the first black insurance company, black-owned insurance company to be chartered in New York City.
Oh, wow.
Yes, to receive a business license out there. So pretty dope. Those are the few things. And the reason why we bring that up is because he started all those right here in the Overton building. In this building.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that the company itself, the Overton manufacturing, was right on the first floor, but everything above it was offices.
Yeah.
And so like all these businesses that he started were also offices. Their offices were like
right
above.
here. Yeah. And this building is original, intact, same kind of way. Now, in 1926, this is when it really gets crazy.
Yeah.
For this part of the story, we are going to head just a few steps down
Just
and show you something
across.
really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to love this next part. Let's go. All right, so we literally just walked
not even like 100 feet.
Yeah, right. Because, like I said, Anthony Overton, he was doing big things down here in the South Side.
Yep.
And one of the buildings that he bought in 1923 was this one right here. And this housed
So beautiful.
the Chicago Bee.
Yeah.
And if you are not familiar with the Chicago Bee is a newspaper that was notable to give, black folks information, just like the Chicago Defender, which had been going already.
Yep.
But this one is the reason why Chicago has Bronzeville. One of the editors from the Chicago Bee said, hey, all the people look like bronze, let's call them bronze. And that's how Bronzeville got its name, from this building right here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, pretty dope. So also, a lot of the business that he did with the hygienic cosmetics actually happened in both buildings.
Right.
So both of these buildings being so next to each other were easy for people to work. And so pretty dope that he was here. Also, fun fact before we keep on going, because where's the hair products? Let's talk about it. We'll get to it in a second. The fun fact about these buildings, these are the last two buildings we showed you, 2 of the 9 remaining structures from the OG Bronzeville Black Metropolis era.
Which is crazy.
So I don't think we have time to show all 9 of them, but
to click back through
yes,
our Bronzeville episodes, you'll find some of them. We've covered most of them.
We've covered a lot of them, So, but we are going to take you to some places that.
I'm so excited. We're going to talk about 3 more businesses that were right here on the South Side that were all about hair care products catered to black people. So I can't wait to talk about it. One of them wasn't even owned by a black person, but we'll get to it when we get to it.
Ooh, let's go. All right, y'all. So we left the shop, or Bronzeville. I'm sorry.
The shop.
The shop. I'm still stuck on the hair.
Now we are in the kind of like one of the alleys down Motor Row. We're on 24th South Michigan, and we wanted to come here because we're going to talk about 2 businesses that kind of were some of the beginnings of black hair care products.
Yeah.
And one of them was Murray's. So C.D. Murray was a barber, and in his barber shop, he developed the Murray's pomade. Basically.
Yeah. And if y'all don't know what Murray's pomade is, rock with your boy. We keep that thing on it. You know what I'm saying? Got to keep your hair pomaded. Laid.
It was quickly kind of like discovered. And so it kind of like blew up because famous people started using it. They were using it in movies, and it became like a huge thing. So that was in 1925. And then in 1926, Valmore Products started.
Okay.
So just a year later. And even though it started on the South Side and it was predominantly making products for black and brown people, it was started by a Jewish couple. Okay. And so, but what they did was, the husband worked in toiletries, he was a salesperson for toiletries. And so he kind of saw a part of the market that like didn't have enough products
Right.
for Black and brown people.
You only had a 4-foot section at Target. Okay.
Kinda.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he kind of started developing this brand called Valmore Products. So not only did they make like pomades, they also made perfumes and they made makeup and they did hair powders. They also had a publishing company and a recording company.
Oh,
and
wow.
actually where we are right now was once where their warehouses stood.
Yeah.
I
Now-
don't believe the building is here anymore.
No, interesting enough, if you put in the address, the first address where they were by, it's literally where my McCormick is. So
Yeah.
it clearly is torn down because McCormick was there.
Right.
The next location, which is supposed to be
Kind of like hovers
right
over 55.
here. And 55 is right here, obviously. So we put it together, right? We saw an article that was dated in the 60s, early 60s or 50s, right? 55 was created in 65.
56.
56, right? In 56. So that means
It must have been demolished to build
make
the
way for
highway
this.
or something. I don't. Maybe it still exists and we just missed it. But
No, I don't think so.
The
I think-
addresses
yeah.
go nowhere.
Yeah, right, right.
If I'm, the South Michigan address goes nowhere.
Yeah.
But there is a flyer that has that address on it. Insert image here.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, so they and a lot of people were kind of cautious of them because obviously you have this white couple that is making products for
Black people.
non-white people, and it was like, okay, are they kind of like taking advantage
Right.
of the culture, or are they just making the product because they're just trying to make money?
right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, who knows? I mean, they were doing at that time somewhat of a good thing.
Yeah.
They hired a lot of black people
yeah.
to do.
Well, they hired 2,500 black people from the Bronzeville area.
Yeah.
And even one of their illustrators was a very, very popular, well, at the time he wasn't popular just yet, but he was a black illustrator that was insanely talented. He even made a mural, or not a mural, what's the thing? A flyer
There you go.
for the World's Fair. And
No, that was a whole bunch of years earlier too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he was popular.
but the problem was that the guy that owned Valmore they said that he's kind of like stealing his art because no artist was allowed to sign their art. So he made all of these like beautiful art pieces, very provocative, by the way, very like misogynistically charged.
Yeah.
Like naked women in Ebony magazine, basically. And but they weren't allowed to sign their art. So like no one
Knew who they were.
Yeah,
Right.
basically.
Gotcha.
But the guy was very famous. He went to the Art Institute. Let me grab his name. Charles C. Dawson was his name.
That's that story here.
Well,
That's that story.
The guy that Morton Newman is his name that started this company. He was a huge socialite. He was friends with Picasso. One of the buildings that he owned later became Chess Records. So like he knew a lot of. He became very wealthy. He knew a lot of people that were significant in the city, and kind of like built his reputation as this entrepreneur, and made this like conglomerate of a company, off of the needs for black
hair products.
products.
There you go.
So that one is kind of like a controversial one, but yeah.
But we got another one that we about to go to, and
That one is
this one legendary.
amazing.
This one legendary. So let's go head on over to further south. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's get it.
All right, so obviously we have to end the episode by talking about one of the most important black hair care companies that came out of Chicago, which is Johnson Product
Perhaps the
Company.
Could be the most important.
Could be. A lot of other companies paved the way, but Johnson really was unmatched. It started in 1954, and George and Joanne, husband and wife, started the company. George was already working for Fuller when he developed the Ultra Sheen kind of recipe, right, in 1944.
Okay.
And in 1954, he went to a bank and tried to take out a loan to start his own company. And they said no, like he got rejected. He went to another branch and he said, oh, I need the $250 loan to go on vacation. So they gave him the loan
Oh wow.
to go on vacation.
So they say you can party, but you can't be successful.
You can't build a business.
You can't build wealth. No.
So he took the money and he started, they both started Johnson, and you know, like less in 1972, it was the first black-owned company to
Be listed on
be listed on the American
stock exchange.
Stock Exchange.
Oh,
There
wow.
it is.
Wow.
Which is wild.
That's very wild.
But it took till 1972.
Right. Now, here's the thing. That shows the popularity of how strong that was
Yeah.
for it to be the back.
Yeah.
For anybody that is an old head, if you remember Soul Train, which is another Chicago staple here, they were the first exclusive partner
Yeah.
of.
They were the sponsor.
They were the sponsor of Soul Train. So,
Which is
I mean,
wild.
obviously, all black folks watching that. So
Yeah.
many legends and stars came down through there. So that was perfect advertising.
Yeah,
for 'em.
and I think they were like one of the first to do something like that. And then in 1980, they controlled over a third of the market of black hair care products
Wow. Hey.
anywhere.
Hey.
So
Hey.
yeah,
You see one?
they started out with Ultra Sheen, and then to kind of like talk about the other products that they came up with in the 60s, when the kind of like the black empowerment movement was happening. Obviously, a lot of people were wearing their hair natural, so they had to kind of pivot away from relaxers and stuff like that and come up with new products. And so that's when they kind of shifted in the 60s. Joanne really was controlling a lot of the company. She did a lot of the work, and so when they got divorced, she got control of Johnson, and then she sold it in 1993 after her son stepped down as the executive. He was the executive, and I think he was the vice president or president, and he stepped down, so she sold the company in 93,
Interesting.
and then she passed in 2019.
Interesting. And we're here in Chatham.
Chatham,
And-
that's where their headquarters
Yes.
was. That's where their manufacturing happened.
And right now we are standing in front of
One of their-
this right here right
there.
behind us. Yeah, that right there is their home.
Yeah.
Where they live.
18.
Yeah.
South Indiana. It's actually one of the like historic homes in the area. It's a very unique modern
Yeah. It
architecture.
definitely looks very modern.
Yeah, it's made of. There's a ton of glass inside. Like there's a ton of like floor to ceiling windows, and so it's very airy, very open, very artsy, and so it kind of looks very different from the other more classic looking homes
Yeah.
on the block. So
Yeah.
it's definitely unique and
Oh.
speaks to like how
How unique they were.
They were,
and,
yeah.
and you know how different they want to be.
for sure.
That's dope. Hey, look. So there you go, black hair care, baby.
Yeah,
Look,
buddy.
You know what I'm saying?
Chicago made it.
Chicago did it again.
Honestly.
Again.
Like all the products you love and you probably grew up using
Yeah.
came from right here.
Right. And now we're going to go back to where we came from. I mean, home. Oh, no, home.
Okay.
But if you like this episode, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, share, follow button, all that kind of stuff. Recommend it.
Yep.
What you got to do. This wind is kicking ass. I don't know if
I
y'all can
know.
tell. We can post, these mics are pretty good, but
We gotta go home.
We got to go home. St. Patrick's Day is already getting rowdy out here.
It is.
Let's get home in these streets.
get it.
Out of these streets. Anyway, peace.